Call to order the regular monthly meeting of the Ellsworth City Council. Monday, October 17, 2016, 7 p.m. All councilors are present and accounted for. One vacant seat. Item number 2, Pledge of Allegiance. We invite you to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item 3, Rules of Order. Council meetings are conducted under Robert's Rules of Order and other rules as adopted at the organizational meeting of Council in November 2015. Item number 4, adoption of minutes from the following meeting of the Ellsworth City Council. September 2, special meeting, September 19, regular monthly meeting, and September 30th, special council meeting.
Move approval of all three, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on any? Seeing none. All those in favor? Motion carried. Might add, please, we'd ask that you turn off or silence all cell phones or electronic devices at this time, and thank you for that. Item 5, City Manager's Report. Manager Cole.
A few quick items. First, tomorrow between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m., contractor will be coming in to install or update our traffic controller at Water Street and Main Street. The modifications will allow us more flexibility in terms of setting preferences. For example, we can give more time to traffic coming from the south, from Surrey and Bucksport roads in the morning, whereas that traffic reverses in the evening, and give priority on that end. The new traffic camera is also being installed. That will replace the loops that came up with the mill and fill job that was recently completed by the state.
That turned out very well.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, very nice job, lane construction. The loops have to be replaced, and as you know, the council chose to upgrade to a traffic camera, which not only plays the role of helping to manage that light, so you don't have to sit through a whole cycle if there's nobody coming in the opposite direction, but will also give us data on traffic flows coming up over U.S. Route 1, which of course is one of the major portals in and out of the city. This is more than just that intersection. This is about looking holistically at the city, and we already have cameras at the high school and up on High Street and Myrick, and this will pretty much cover all, areas in and out of the city and give us better data for future traffic management. Also, the new website is up and functional. I would suggest to the public, anyone interested in email notifications, the website now has capability of giving you automatic notifications for city council meetings and agendas, planning board meetings and agendas, as well as general email alerts, for example, road closures or the recent boil water order. So go to the website in the bottom of the homepage and you'll see a list of notifications. Sign up and you'll always have up-to-date information in those areas. Finally, absentee voting is underway and goes through November 3rd in preparation for the November 8th election. On Thursday, November 3rd, the register of voters will be open from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., to help out those who have time at night to come by and register. And also would remind the public that Ward 2 is now going to be served by the Community of Christ Church, which is a new location, which is near the high school on the Bangor Road. We're coordinating with the DOT and RF Jordan, making sure that the construction certainly allows people free access in and out of the polling location that day. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Any questions of the manager? Councilor
One,
Porter?
Ms. Cole, the email notification
Uh-huh.
system, do I remember right that those email addresses are protected by confidentiality as long as they're used for one-way communication?
I would defer to the
It's a
IT.
question I'd,
Yeah.
not right this minute,
Okay.
but sometime, just to make sure, because a
Yeah.
lot of people are gonna shy away from it if Freedom of Information, or Freedom of Access Act request is gonna come in and grab all those email addresses.
Right, as to who's
I
getting
think
information.
we went through this a year ago, and I can't remember which way it happened, but
Yeah, and I
I
don't
think
recall
they're
as well,
protected,
but
but, so, okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you, Manager Cole. Item number 6, committee reports. Any councilors wish to report on committee meetings that they've attended since the last regular meeting? Councilor Blanchett.
Mr. Chairman, Recreation Committee met last week. The upcoming Winter Carnival, we've started discussion on that. A date will be set for that next month. A new chairman will also be elected next month. Because of a couple of absences, we wanted to give everybody a chance to express their interest if they had any. So we did delay that. We'll also be naming a new member to the Recreation Board later this evening. And being October, the fields and basketball court are now in the process of being closed for the winter. Basketball court, we couldn't get a date on because the person that supplies our ladders was not in attendance, and we couldn't get a firm date from him. But we're hoping that we can get in discussion with him very soon to firm
Who
that
said
up.
I was gonna loan them to you again?
Because you have for the last, how many years? That's it.
Very good, thank you. Anyone else? Any other committees to report? Councilor Moore.
Okay, the Harbor Commission met, and as of the 15th, the harbor is officially closed. They will be going around doing the maintenance or the actual shutting down of it in the next few days. They had a pretty good year. The income from the new slips, docks, and so forth was better than expected. In some respects, it kind of paid for itself if you don't look at how much it cost to build them in the first place. There was a discussion on the current status of the replacement of the gas tanks, and that still seems to be something that's going to come to pass. And from an aesthetic point of view, Adam did a really good job coordinating with the garden club in making a very nice little garden down there. And behind the, what do you call it, the incubator building, he did part of the filling with loam and grassing it in, so it's looking better all the time. And that's it.
Thank you. Manager Cole.
yeah, I would point out, last week I greeted the Ellsworth Garden Club. They met upstairs in the auditorium and did convey your thanks to them for all the
Good.
work they've done down at the harbor and the Blue Star Memorial and a couple other locations, so.
They've been busy this year, yeah. Great. Any other committees to report tonight? If not, we'll move on. Item number 7 is citizen comments. Opportunity for citizens to address the council on issues that you have concerns or issues that are important to you. And we'll allow you a few minutes to state your concerns. We won't necessarily get into a back and forth debate, but we'll listen and take in anything that you have to say to us, so. I always say, going once, going twice. Step right up to the podium, state your name for the record, and The city clerk is still looking for who might be coming. All right, seeing no one, then we'll move on. Item 8, presentation of awards. The first award is to Peter Austin for 30 years of service with the Water Department. I don't see Mr. Austin here tonight, so we'll make sure that he gets the certificate that has been made out for him. 30 years of service is a long tenure. And then we have two commendations to present tonight for policemen providing life-saving measures. I'll defer to the police chief, Chief Bickmore.
Thank you very much. One of the nicest things about my job is coming to council meetings and recognizing the officers and dispatchers of the police department. So it's a nice thing to do tonight to recognize Sergeant Sean Willie, who's not here, and Officer Sean Merchant, who is here. On September 29th, around 8:30 p.m., the Ellsworth Police Department received a 911 call for a report of a unresponsive male. Officer Merchant was the first to arrive on the scene, and he saw a man on the phone who stated that his friend had overdosed and was on the floor in the bathroom. The wife of the man who had overdosed met Officer Merchant at the door, stating that she and the friend had tried CPR, but he needed Narcan because he had taken heroin. As Officer Merchant entered the house, he found an unconscious male lying face up on the bathroom floor with his head in the doorway. Officer Merchant tended to the unresponsive male on the floor. Sergeant Willie then arrived on the scene with a Narcan kit and prepared to deploy a dose of Narcan to the unresponsive male. Officer Merchant, while holding the male's head, still called him by name with no response. The unresponsive male had a pulse but was gasping for breath while unconscious. After one dose of Narcan was administered, the male woke up within 20 to 25 seconds. While holding him down, he was informed that he had overdosed. At that point, the situation was turned over to EMS. The actions of these officers are a credit to the Ellsworth Police Department, and therefore they are commended for their life-saving actions. Thank you.
So I'd like to read the letter of commendation. The Ellsworth Police Department proudly presents this certificate to Officer Sean Merchant in recognition of your quick action and professionalism in the administration of life-saving medical intervention, which played an important role in the saving of a life. Your actions and integrity are a credit to the Ellsworth Police Department and indicative of a strong commitment to the department's core values of community service and professionalism. Presented the 17th day of October 2016, signed Harold Bickmore, Chief of Police, Robert Crossway, Chairman, Ellsworth City Council. Sean, accept our congratulations and our thanks.
No, well done.
Thank you. And Sergeant Willie will get his certificate.
Yes.
I just want to say, we also want to welcome Officer Jameson here tonight. After your surgeries and all that you've been through this summer, great to see you up and back on patrol.
Yeah. Mr. Chair, I would note that Sergeant Willie is at canine training. I'm not sure what that means, but I'm sure it's being.
There you go. Great. Thank you, Chief.
Him or Chase?
Next is unfinished business, no items, and then consent agenda. Tonight, we have 2 items. These are items considered to be routine, and they'll be enacted by one motion unless any counselor has a request to set aside one of the 2 items. Hearing none, the 2 items are item number 9, Council Order number 101600, request the Deputy Treasurer Tax Collector to accept payments on tax-acquired timeshare units per the attached spreadsheet, and to authorize City Manager to release said properties through municipal quitclaim deeds. And item number 10, Council Order number 101601, request of the Recreation Commission to appoint Amy Phillips as a member to the Recreation Commission, term to expire June 30, 2018.
Move approval of the consent agenda is read.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? And one abstention? Thank you. New business. Item 11, public hearing and action on the application of the following licenses. Louise Joy and Tommy Joy doing business at Edward Joy and Sons, 129 North Street for renewal of a city junkyard automobile graveyard permit. City staff, any issues? I will open the public hearing. Anyone care to speak on this application? This is for a renewal. Hearing none, close the public hearing and council action.
Mr. Chairman, move approval.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? That is unanimous. Next is public hearing and action on James B. Card II doing business as Jimbo's Junking, 62 Kylie's Way, for renewal of a city junkyard automobile graveyard permit. Any issues, city staff? Seeing none, I'll open the public hearing. Anyone care to speak to this renewal of license? Seeing no one, close the public hearing and council action.
Mr. Chairman, move approval.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carried unanimously. Item number 12, public hearing and action on a proposed amendment to the City of Ellsworth official land use map. Proposal is to consider the rezoning of land from the urban zoning district to the business park zoning district for the purpose of developing a commercial composting facility. The rezoning includes 2 acres of tax map lot 50/75 accessed off the industrial road, and approximately 8.1 acres of tax map lot 59/14-1-2 off the Mariahville Road, Route 180, as shown on the map, is available in the city clerk's department, and defer to the city planner.
Good evening, thank you. So, as you can see, what we're doing is, the land that is in the green section on the map is in the business park. In the upper hand corner, we have the city's transfer station. And behind the city transfer station, trying to orient people, there's the land that we're talking about. There's a this demo debris business operating. So we're looking at the land that is abutting that business that you can see in the pink, that is presently in the urban zone. We're looking to put it into the business park zone. What that's going to do, it's going to stretch basically the business park zone, meaning it's going to include more land than it is presently. The land that's surrounding the area to be rezoned has no businesses or vacant land. The business park zone is used for light industrial type of uses. We have garages, we have places where they have fuel tanks. We have a reed bed that takes sludge from the wastewater treatment plant, the city wastewater treatment plant when needed, and is treated by the sludge, by the bed there that is lying underneath, of course. It has a, we have the transfer station that's operating there. So what we're looking is to add more land, and we're looking at the potential that eventually we're gonna have a business that will do commercial composting in that zone. That business would have to come to the planning board. But what I'm asking tonight is simply the consideration of adding land to the business park zone.
All right, I'm going to open the public hearing.
Yep.
And the public hearing is open. If anyone cares to speak to this or has any concerns. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and we'll turn to council. Just had one comment I wanted to make. The planning board is already, they're sending this to us with the unanimous recommendation, I understand.
Correct. I did not include the minutes, did I? I forgot. I think they weren't ready when I prepared that. I'm sorry about that. It was a unanimous,
Yeah.
positive recommendation.
Okay.
I will provide the clerk with a copy of those minutes, if that's okay with you for the record, so that it meets.
That's fine, I just wanted to be sure that
Yeah.
that gets in the record.
Mr. Chairman, move to approve the amendment to the City of Ellsworth land use map to rezone 2 acres of the tax map 50, lot 75, and approximately 8.1 acres of tax map 59, lot 1412, as depicted in magenta pink on the map.
Second.
Moving second. Any discussion? Council Fortier.
Just, I'm excited to have someone go after a project like this, because it's the one part of the solid waste hierarchy that we have not had available
Right.
to us at a cost that we could afford. So to take the tonnage that this plant is gonna be able to take from us, especially if he can get the recipe going, that he can take our sludge from our
Sludge, yeah,
sewage treatment plant,
Right.
our shellfish waste, our lawn waste, our food waste. That makes our decision of going with PERC or something else even less expensive.
Right.
So it's, I'm glad it's happening, and I think it's a good fit for that area.
Yep. Certainly agree with that. Any other comments? Manager Cole?
Yeah, upon that, we currently send our waste to Unity, our sludge. And if we were to compost or send out our organics, same thing. So that saves us, what, 60, 70 miles? I don't know how far it is here to Unity. Maybe not
I
quite
don't
that
drive to
far.
Unity.
50 miles anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And here we'd have it right next door. So
Right.
those are good logistics.
Excellent. Seems like a good fit there. Councilor Beetham?
This is something that I wish I had seen about 15 or 20 years ago. In my previous job, we looked all over the state. It just was not economical because of the distances that we had to travel. This is something that's been missing in this area, and it's going to fill a need that has been here for quite some time, and it's just gone unfilled. I'm very glad to see it.
Anyone else? We have a motion, it's been moved and seconded, and I'll put the question. All those in favor? That is unanimous.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Josh.
Well, we didn't let him have 10 minutes of fame in front of the
so.
microphone.
When they're saying
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Next is item number 13, public hearing and action. Council order number 101602, order authorizing the issuance of up to $84,000 city's general obligation bonds to finance the acquisition and equipping of 2 police vehicles.
Yes, so back in August, City Council had authorized the purchase of 4 cruisers and the associated equipment that goes with those cruisers. This authorization is the next step in the process and would authorize a bank note with the first. They once again have given us a great rate of 1.63% for 3 years. So this authorization would allow me to go ahead and borrow the money for that.
Mr. Chairman?
Yep, go ahead.
For the general public,
Hmm.
and the reason we need to do this is the first time we've borrowed money for police cruisers,
Correct.
is we had 2 budgeted.
2 budgeted, and then
And-
we were
and our
borrowing
illustrious-
for the 2.
The police chief convinced us that he really needed 4.
We have a lot of cruisers that were in need to be
Okay.
moved.
Because normally we would handle a purchase like this through the regular budget
That's
cycle.
correct. Yep,
That's what's unusual about it.
should have stated that, thank you.
Because of an aging fleet
Yep.
Correct.
was the reason.
And
Many
equipping
miles on many
includes everything? I mean, everything to equip it up?
Yes,
Right.
except the computers, which is my next item.
And, Mr. Chair, that 1.6% interest will be more than offset by the savings and repairs that would occur over that lifetime, so
I'm sure.
it's a good economic deal for us.
Right. All right, I'll open the public hearing and open the public hearing to welcome any comments there might be on this issue.
So you're gonna have to look for some public.
Hold them back, hold them back.
Chief, what color are these cars gonna be?
Oh. Close the public hearing.
Black and white or what?
Mr. Chairman, move to authorize an issuance of up to $84,000 of the city's general obligation bonds to finance the purchase of new cruisers and associated equipment. Also authorize council order 101602 per the attached written order.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you. Item number 14, council order number 101603, request of the police chief to accept a grant award in the amount of $125,000 from the Community Oriented Policing Services COPS Grant Program. Chief Bickmore.
Thank you. In June of this year, we applied for a COPS grant from the Department of Justice for $125,000 for a school resource officer specifically. A week and a half ago, we were awarded the grant for $125,000. It requires a commitment from the city of approximately $108,000. The grant is for 3 years. The goal of the resource officer is to establish relations within the school and the student body. The Dan Higgins, superintendent of schools, is not here tonight, but he fully supports the school resource officer, and we will collaborate with him to draw up the job description for the officer.
Manager.
Superintendent Higgins sent his regrets. I believe there's a soccer game tonight or something at the school, but he's obviously very excited about this.
I have an email from him.
Yes. Good. Good, good. All right, council, any questions of the chief or
We,
comments?
a while back, we had a school resource officer. And when I was there, I always felt that there was a need for it.
He's sitting right up there.
One of
And
them.
I wasn't.
One of them.
I didn't want to embarrass him by saying really good things about him.
Your own choices.
But I think it worked well, and the kids related to it very well. But there's also some other reasons why I think this is a good idea. And we talked about this at a previous meeting. And that is, if something's going to happen at that school, I think we all kind of agreed that it's going to, what happens in the first few minutes will pretty much decide what's going to happen. And to have a resource officer there with resources is a very important thing.
It's a good comment. Anyone else? Councilor Fortier?
Couple. When do you expect this to start? January 1? Are you thinking July 1?
Well, I have to talk to Tammy and Dave further on that, but there are rules with the grant, and I would expect that maybe around the first of the year, and we'll have to talk about hiring so we can promote an officer within the department to the school resource officer job and backfill with that new recruit.
Okay.
So, and the goal would be to get them in the academy in January, if we hired a new recruit who needed to go to the academy.
And we had this discussion at Finance last Friday through the Maine Municipal Association Conference last week. It amazed me to understand that nationally, an active shooter incident is over in 3 to 5 minutes. It's come to its end result. And that resource officer is going to be the only thing close enough to that school to have any chance of making a difference. So I think the position is well thought out, and I look forward to seeing it implemented.
Also tied the write-up to our new Project Hope, and everything that we're doing with Project Hope as far as education in the schools. So that's a win-win for the position also.
Definitely.
And again, one of only 4 awards in the state of Maine.
Yes, sir.
So it was a very competitive environment.
That's great.
I had an awful lot of help from Tammy, and she did a great job, and other people in the department,
Excellent.
and the school department, and Superintendent Higgins.
Great. All right.
It's what's gonna make you look really good in 5 years, is surrounding yourself with good people.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilor Phillips.
move to approve the request of the police chief to accept a grant award in the amount of $125,000 from the Community-Oriented Policing Services Corps Grant Award.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carried unanimous. Item number 15, council, by the way, thank you, Chief, for your help on that. Council order number 101604, request of the Finance Director to transfer funds from the Exacom Recorder Capital Improvement line item to the Computer Replacement Capital Improvement line item.
Yes, thank you.
Finance
The
Minister.
IT systems administrator had informed me that the XCOM recorder capital improvement line item was no longer needed because they are leasing a piece of equipment that is being budgeted through the annual budget process. And he would like to request this money be transferred to the computer replacement capital improvement line item. And by transferring the balance of $11,500, it would allow the IT department to purchase computers and some associated equipment for the 2 new cruisers that we're getting.
Okay.
So that is my request.
Any questions on that, anyone, or comments?
Mr. Chairman, move to approve the request of the Finance Director to transfer funds from the Exactcom Recorder Capital Improvement line item to the Computer Replacement Capital Improvement line item.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? That's unanimous. I just wanted to add, not an item, but just a comment before we do 16 and 17. I want to invite all the members of council and the general public to the Ellsworth High football game Friday evening at 6:30, a half hour before the kickoff of the game. They're going to have a special presentation at that football game to honor the memory of Tug White, Harold Tug White, and to officially name the field in his honor. And so any of you that can make that, you're more than welcome to be there, and hopefully you'll come and support. Item number 16, request of the city manager to approve a proposal to restructure positions within the Ellsworth Police Department.
Yeah.
Manager Cole, do you want to take that? Or
Yeah, I'll,
You and the chief? Or-
yes, why don't you come up, Chief, and Deputy City Manager as well, may call upon Tammy this as well. Basically, we're proposing, Chief Beckmore, myself, and Finance Director Moat have talked, and the chief, and I'll let him speak to this, has been here now 6 months and has some recommendations for restructuring, one of which is what we'll be talking about tonight. But I think the city has grown to the point where we should have a captain, who's clearly the second in command, to oversee the day-to-day operations. And as you will recall, you had, I believe it was in the FY 2016 budget, had approved a second detective's position. And in our discussions, the chief felt, and I agreed, that having a captain was more important at this point. So we're recommending eliminating the detective's position and creating a new captain's position. You have the updated job description with you, and Chief, would you like?
Yes, as Mr. Cole stated, there's a need to create a new position within the police department and to restructure. Therefore, we're recommending that a new captain position be created. This will be the first time we have ever promoted anyone to this rank. This captain position will be the second in command under the chief and will oversee the entire department with emphasis on patrol operations and administrative matters.
So, any questions?
Questions, comments, input?
Looked pretty thorough.
Good job.
Yeah, let's be honest, this isn't the first time we've seen this. We've known that this is coming. Have you, for explanatory, have you put together a tree responsibilities, you know, like chief at the top, so that if someone asks, that all of us have the exact right answer? Who reports to who, the line, chain of command is so important.
Well, yeah, we have a job description,
Yep.
and there will be a hierarchy
Okay.
of the department, and it'll be laid out, it'll be clear to all the members of the department and to all of you.
Good.
Mr. Chairman, move to
Counselor?
approve the city manager and chief of police request to create a new captain's position in the police department.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Counselor Moore?
Just a question,
Sure.
when do you expect to appoint this position?
Well, I will collaborate with Mr. Cole and his staff tomorrow, and we will post the position as soon as we can and have our career boards and what other steps that we're gonna do to proceed with appointing the captain and advertise it within the department.
Yeah, yes, and that's an important point. We plan to post this internally as an initial step and hopefully fill it from within.
Right. Good. Any other questions or any other comments? We have a motion. All those in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you, Chief.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Thank you,
Thank you.
Manager Cole. Item number 17.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
I said there's another.
All in favor? We're adjourned.
Stereo